people interested in the future join hands, work together, debate, argue, and then figure out how to get the show on the road. That's what Washington needs. Now, here's the second thing I want to say. America is coming back. We had this terrible financial crash in late 2008. And in the last 150 years, it's taken countries, rich countries, an average of 10 years to get over these financial crashes. 1872, 1892, 1932, and the Depression in America, 2008. In Japan, they had a crash in 1990, and when I left office 10 years later, they weren't out of it. Now, America got back all the jobs it lost last month. It took us 6 years to do what it's taken 10 years to do. Now, there are, and we did it dealing with a lot of national security challenges and other things, with a Democratic president who's had not one but two Republican defense secretaries, a Republican Secretary of the Army, Republican Secretary of Transportation, and tried to, get us all together. We're coming back. So the reason Colorado is so important this year to all the rest of us is that everybody looks at you as the state of the future. You have diversity, you have youth, you have energy resources, you have great universities, you've got a great technology base. There's nothing you can't do. The question is, what are the terms on which we're going to come back? The real issue in this election, policy-wise, is whether we're going back to trickle-down economics or we're going to invest in our people, grow the economy. Don't let anybody kid you. That's what's paying for all these negative ads coming in from out of state. It's whether we're going back to trickle-down economics. That's what's paying for all this information to convince half the seniors in this country that the Democrats have cut Medicare when we've got more insurers wanting to participate in the Medicare Advantage program than ever before, and not a single senior citizen in the entire country has had Medicare cut. It's a big myth. And so what's paying for it is the fond hope that Americans can be so churned up and so anxiety-ridden that you will forget yourselves and vote to go back to trickle-down economics. Now, here's what I want to say. The only reference I want to make to the past. Since the 70s, there has only been one period when we all grew together. The 8 years when I was president. You've had, wait a minute. You had 5 terms of trickle-down economics, where we cut taxes on the wealthiest Americans, spent more money. Under the first 12 years, we increased the debt of the country 4.5 times. Second time we tried it, we doubled the debt again, and then left the mess for the president and the current government to try to clean up. We did the best when President Reagan was in office because we had never done that before. We'd never gone on a sugar high before where we cut taxes and increased spending and blew up the debt, and it was like a one long stimulus program. But look what happened. The top 20% of the economy when President Reagan was in office did a little better than they did under me. It's actually all the top 2%. Their incomes went up about 22% and only 20.5% when I was president. The next 20%, 25% better in the 1990s when I was president. The middle of the country did 50% better when I was president. Wait. The fourth 20% did twice as well when I was in office. And here's the kicker of all. The bottom 20%, it's people that are working hard, trying to get into the middle class. Their incomes increased in the 8 years of President Reagan 0.7%. In our 8 years, 23.6%. So what happened? We grew together. Think, you are a state of the future. The only thing that makes sense is for us to think about the future and to build it together with John Hickenlooper and Mark Udall. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.